Hi, my name is Nadisha, and on this presentation, I will be talking about the project risk management. In this presentation, I'll be talking about the risk management in projects, what is risk management, and what are the risk management strategies. And finally, we would discuss how the project managers in real world manage to achieve their goals by using the project management strategies. To understand risk management in a project, we must first understand what a risk is. A risk is anything that would impact on the success of a project, which would be a negative impact or a positive impact. Yes, you heard right. The risk can be either a threat or an opportunity. With proper risk management, we can minimize the potential negative impact and maximize positive impacts. A successful project manager plan risk management in order to achieve the ultimate goal of the project. The risk management process involves three basic steps: identify, analyze, and responding to risk. When starting a project, someone would say that they won't start this project due to this and that. Those kinds of people see every possible threat not to start the specific project. A wise project manager would listen to every aspect of the threats which would impact on the project. It is wise to see what would go wrong in advance. For this, brainstorming the subject matter expertise in the project is advisable. After identifying the threats, we need to analyze the risks, basically the likelihood and the impact. How often would this threat occur and how much impact would it bring to the project? By performing a qualitative risk analysis, we can prioritize the major and minor risks. The risks which cannot be understood only through the qualitative analysis should be quantitatively analyzed. Once the risks are analyzed, the project team needs to decide how to address the major risks. The 8 strategies that are applied to major risks are avoid, transfer, mitigate, accept, research, exploit, share, and enhance. The first strategy, avoid, is the best and the most often strategy. This involves avoiding activities or situations that would lead to potential risks of the projects. Risk transferring is transferring the risk to a third party. The first transferring technique is to have a project insurance. Second is to use a fixed price contract. And finally is to hire an expert to perform the risks. None of these eliminates the risk, yet only transfers the risk to someone else. The next strategy would be mitigation. Mitigation simply means reducing the risk from happening or reducing the impact if the risk happens. Risk acceptance is another strategy in which the project team accepts the risk and deal with it. For example, like a weather condition is a risk that the team would have to accept and work accordingly with a different approach. The next strategy is research strategy, that is to know more about the risk. We can either gather more information about the risk and understand it better or verify the previously made assumptions. Exploit, enhance, and share, all the three strategies come for risks which could be identified as opportunities, which means changing the identified risk to an opportunity which would benefit in the project. Now let us see how project managers in real life worked out their projects with their risks and strategies. The case study of Arthur 2008 discusses about the risk management in IT projects and particularly about a project named ASTI, which would be used for the management of teletechnical and energy infrastructure. AIoT as a general contractor faced many risks in the project, which led them to develop a risk management plan where a risk manager was appointed. The risks they identified were categorized as organizational, technical, internal, external, technological, and formal legal. I will discuss some of the risks and strategies they used to overcome them. The first one is lack of competence of the team members. This was classified as a technological risk factor. For this, the risk control plans were reporting missing skills to the project manager and involvement of a subcontractor in specializing in the subject. The involvement of a subcontractor can be identified as a transference strategy, which means transferring the risk to a third party. Another risk identified was having a small project team. For this, they had to use this avoid strategy and made plans so as to increase the human resources whenever there was a necessity. Mitigate strategy or decreasing the risk impact was used for the third risk, which is unwillingness of end users to the system. They would decrease the unwillingness by providing training on the new system and conducting promotional acts. Next, let's consider a case study done by Marie-Louise Barry regarding a project of developing a synthetic aperture radar, also known as SAR. SAR is a technique of gathering data which uses microwave energy to create high-resolution images of the Earth. This SAR is built on the rooftop of a defense deck. Some of the risks identified were availability of the system engineer, SCSI disk crash, and unfavorable weather conditions. As a system engineer had to be available for other projects as well, the availability of the system engineer was identified as a risk. The project manager of RoofSAR avoided the risk by constantly keeping updated the center manager, and the center manager ensured that the system manager is available for the project. The adverse weather conditions had to be accepted by the team, therefore the time scale was not achieved, but the project manager constantly updated the client so that the client was aware of the time and was not displeased. The final project we are going to discuss is the Saudi Aramco's Marjan and Zuluf increments. Marjan and Zuluf are the second and third largest offshore oil fields in the Arabian Gulf. The project is to enhance the productivity of the two oil fields. With the two increment programs, the two oil fields will gain tons of additional gas and oil. As the both oil fields are operating oil fields, heavy presence of boats was identified as a risk. To mitigate the risk, more anchorage areas were introduced. Another challenge with the busy fields were the complex subsea pipelines and cables. Adding more subsea lines would be a significant challenge. This risk was avoided by using renewable energy sources. The cost and logistical challenges are even greater when trying to accomplish them with proper safety measures. This risk was reduced by simplifying the construction of the pipelines. Throughout the presentation, we discussed about the project risk management, how the project managers need to focus on risks so as to succeed the project. As a conclusion, I would like to mention few steps we should consider while attending to a project. First, we must identify the risks and then understand the risks and plan on how we should address the risks. Finally, I would like to add that risk management is a key factor in succeeding a project. Thank you.